In reality, once the Russia-Ukraine war broke out, it created a golden opportunity for countries to sell arms to Ukraine. Imran Khan, however, declared neutrality in that war. That move didn't sit well with global powers, and thus a hurried regime change was orchestrated to remove him. What followed was an all-out focus on dismantling PTI, but this crackdown was met with stiff resistance from the party and its supporters. To maintain that singular focus on PTI, relations with India were quietly normalized. How? During Imran Khan's tenure, trade with India had been suspended. It was quietly resumed. In the state's narrative, the term enemy was replaced with fitna, branding PTI as rebels or karijites. Meanwhile, Afghanistan was framed as the new security threat. The Eastern Front, India, was cooled, while the Western Front, Afghanistan, heated up. India was no longer even referred to as an adversary. Over the past 3 years, several pro-Kashmir and Khalistani leaders were killed within Pakistan, yet the state maintained complete silence for reasons. As per senior journalists like Hamid Mir, who attended a closed-door briefing, even the infamous line, "There's no fuel for tanks," was uttered. One must note, tanks aren't used on the Western Front. They're Eastern Front weapons. The apparent plan seemed clear. By pacifying India, the state could concentrate on 3 fronts: crush PTI completely, shift focus toward the Western Front, Afghanistan, start supplying arms to Ukraine. India in turn maintained strategic silence on Pakistan, signaling quiet cooperation. As internal instability grew, so did political unrest, repeatedly flagged by Pakistan's allies. That political turmoil triggered economic decline. Pakistan's GDP sharply dropped, debt levels soared dangerously, and today we're at a point where we borrow just to pay the interest on previous loans. Pakistan owes nearly $25 billion this fiscal year just for debt servicing. It's only due to Chinese and UAE deposits that default has been avoided, but Pakistan keeps requesting rollovers every few months. Meanwhile, I believe India watched all of this, silently but attentively, waiting for the perfect moment. Some short-sighted minds assumed that India had quieted down. It understood that arms stockpiles were likely thinning due to the Ukraine supply route. Pakistan was economically crippled and internally fractured. For India, the time was now. While numerous incidents happened inside Pakistan, the state kept avoiding confrontations with India, a monumental mistake. Then came one incident in India, and New Delhi erupted. And yes, it's highly likely India orchestrated that incident. Still, they cried foul at the global level. Just look at India's reaction. They immediately rushed to the United Nations, launching aggressive diplomatic campaigns to make their case heard worldwide. Pakistan? It's merely addressing its own people. The global community is being engaged by India, not us. And to make things worse, Pakistan's Defense Minister, Khawaja Asif, in a stunning blow to our narrative, went on international media and openly admitted that Pakistan had, in the past, nurtured terrorism at the behest of Western powers. India, of course, seized on this historical blunder, presenting his admission at the UN as hard proof that Pakistan supports terrorism. In all this, America is playing its usual role, siding with India, as it always has in moments like these. Only a few days ago, Pakistan sponsored a resolution at the UN through the OIC, condemning Hamas's actions. In return, the US Jewish Congress actually thanked Pakistan. But even this Israel-aligned resolution hasn't helped us. Israel is fully backing India now. We may fumble, but the enemy never does. No country launches a war over just one incident. This entire Indian outcry is part of a well-thought-out long-term plan. It appears India had been preparing for this moment for years. Now they have it. And our strategic planners have been caught off guard, visibly panicking. Meanwhile, the top leadership of the ruling party, Nawaz Sharif and Maryam Nawaz, have remained completely silent on India's aggression. The defense minister already labeled Pakistan as a nursery of terrorism and even shared a potential war timeline on national television, only to later retract his statement. Our Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif called the UN Secretary General and requested that India be advised to act responsibly. But all signs point to one thing. India, our most treacherous enemy, is preparing for a grand geopolitical move. And the silence of the US is alarming. The US has already expressed a desire to deweaponize this region. In plain terms, strip Pakistan of its nuclear capability. This pressure has long existed on Iran. Now, Pakistan could be next. This has always been America's and India's goal. But we must not take these ominous signs lightly. India's sudden international noise and the world's immediate alignment with its stance are no coincidence. It feels like part of a much bigger, long-term plan. We fought a meaningless war in Afghanistan, a colossal mistake. Selling weapons to Ukraine was another disaster. And throughout all this, China has remained silent. We feel cut off from the global scene. We made the grave, perhaps criminal, error of assuming India was no longer a threat. Sadly, we've been complicit in our own downfall. The last 3 years have seen the nation divided, army and people set against each other. That breach in national unity must be healed immediately. Perhaps the time has come to put aside all differences and stand united. But the real question is, will we? Will we wake up from our deep slumber in the face of this existential threat? May Allah protect Pakistan always. For us, there is no home, no refuge, except this land.